Over the past 7 months, Brawl Stars has definitely been on a decline, especially when you compare it to its insane comeback in 2024. And while there are a bunch of reasons behind this dip, let's be real here, Kaze's release did more damage than most people realize. And no, it's not just about Ultra Legendary, though that's a big part of it, and we'll get to that first. I think even Supercell knows deep down that Ultra Legendary might have been a huge mistake. Look, over the past few years, the hype around Legendaries have definitely gone down, and that's not surprising. We've had more Brawlers, more Legendary released, more chances to get them, and just less of that wow factor over time. Saver actually made a great video breaking this down, and I highly recommend watching it if you haven't already. But even with all that being said, adding a new rarity above Legendary wasn't the solution. It honestly made the problem worse. Legendaries were already hard enough to get for most players. They felt like the right amount of grind and reward, and you'd finally unlock one and feel that rush of satisfaction, a different kind of rush compared to the wow factor most players felt for years on end. Ultra Legendary threw that balance off completely. Now there's an even harder unlock, one that costs way more credits with a literal $50 USD to buy outright in early access, which is just insane. That's almost the price of a brand new PS5 game for a single brawler, one that's about to get nerfed probably in a few weeks. Like, why am I spending that much just for a 2-day dopamine rush? It didn't feel like a fun addition, it just felt like a cash grab in the moment. And yeah, I get it, the profits aren't what they were last year, but this certainly was not the move. And that brings us to our next point. Kaze just wasn't fun for most players even on release. Here's the thing, Kaze is not a bad brawler though. In fact, in the hands of a skilled player, she's an absolute menace. The mechanics are tight, she's fast, slippery, and can pull off some pretty insane plays. But that's the issue, she's way too technical for the average player. The majority of Brawl Star players aren't logging on for multiple hours on a day to just study a brawler. Most are just jumping in for a few matches for fun and then leaving. And for those people, Kaze just doesn't click. Her geisha attacks are too strict, she doesn't deal massive burst damage up front, and you can't just auto-aim your way to success like you do with someone like Ali on release. And because of that, when casual players finally unlocked her, either after grinding or dropping real money, their reaction wasn't, whoa, she's amazing, it was more so, that's it. She doesn't give you that instant wow factor that you want from a brand new top tier brawler that is marketed as a ultra legendary. And speaking from a POV as a veteran player in this game for a long time, her mechanics are very unique, yes, but even after I somewhat mastered how she works, it still doesn't feel like an ultra legendary to me. To me, it was just legendary, nothing more and nothing less. Additionally, this explains why Supercell buffed her health in the most recent balance changes, because even before this buff, she was a strong brawler, but to the casual players, she was not strong enough. That's why you see many pros even question the buff of Kaze's health, because she was already strong, but now with this health buff, it made it even stronger in the pro scene, while the casual players can hopefully get somewhat more of a dopamine rush while using her. 3. The timing was just all wrong. Kaze's release came at a pretty rough time for Brawl Stars. The sushi event was supposed to be a big collab, got scrapped, players were constantly complaining about the event and how hard it was to unlock Hypercharge Kenji, and the overall player hype was cooling down fast because of this. Supercell needed something big to turn things around after this event. They needed a brawler who was fun, easy to pick up, and had some real power behind them. Instead, they dropped a technical brawler with a high skill ceiling and no real bang for your buck feeling for most players. Kaze didn't spark interest, she didn't feel broken, she wasn't instantly fun to play. She didn't bring the hype, and that's exactly what the game needed at the time, because let's be honest, the recent batch of brawlers have been pretty underwhelming compared to the past in recent years for Brawl Stars. Out of all of them, the only one that really shook up the game was Lumi. The rest were either too weak at launch or were just Jaeyoung. Anyways though, when Kaze was finally released, expectations were certainly high. This was supposed to be the bounce back brawler, a game changer, something people could hopefully rally around after an underwhelming event, but she wasn't that at all. She was strong, sure, and as Kenji's wife with a manga and all of that, she had the lore, the visuals on lock, but gameplay wise, she was niche, not fun for the average player like I've talked about before, and when the hype is low, releasing a niche character just doesn't move the needle. Here's something a lot of people overlook. There was nothing to support Kaze's launch. The manga and all that was amazing, but when you drop a big brawler like this, one that is marketed as an ultra legendary, especially one that has the potential to be super hyped and tied into the lore already, you need something around her. Special events, challenges, map updates, something. Earlier in the year, they had an event for Melody unlocked. And of course, don't give away your brand new shiny toy away for free like that, but you could have had something more to give this brawler more support. Something that gives that oomph, like on release, that makes her feel ultra legendary. Because on release, she didn't feel like one. And I'm not sure if having an event would move the needle, but I think it would have certainly made her more memorable and would have kept the players more engaged even after a disappointing event. But Kaze didn't come with any of that. Once you unlocked her, or paid for her that is, that was it. There was no meaningful content tied to her gameplay, other than the fact that she's an insane ultra legendary brawler that's supposed to be broken. So she just faded into the background like every other brawler after some time in their release. And when your $50 ultra legendary brawler feels like a background character more so, you've got a problem. At the end of the day, Kaze wasn't a disaster. She's got a cool design, strong mechanics, and great lore, but she wasn't what Brawl Stars needed at the moment. She was too expensive, too hard to use, released at the wrong time, marketed like a superstar, yet didn't play like one. And when you zoom out and look at the big picture, lackluster brawler releases, stale events, rising monetization, Kaze ended up symbolizing everything that's been going wrong with Brawl Stars lately. Even on Google Trends, her release coincided with the game's lowest point during the last 12 months, and I don't think that was a coincidence. Hopefully Supercell learns from this and adjusts, because as a longtime player who wants the game to succeed, this just really wasn't it. We have to wait and see what Supercell does next in August.